Hello, everyone, and welcome to Global Wellness for All podcast. My name is Laleh Hancock, and I have the great pleasure of being your host every single week, bringing in conversations, tools, resources to bringing more wellness and well-being in all aspects of our lives, whether it's relationships, it's finances, business, our bodies and mental health, whether it's having more communion with our magical earth or bringing more awareness and consciousness in everything that we're choosing. So thank you so much for being here. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Global Wellness for All. And it's going to be a little bit different as I am going to be the guest. Our guest was not available today. She ended up having some delays in her travels. And instead, I've been asking, since today is the day I'm departing from Dubai, headed to Mexico City, to what is this topic that's been coming up a lot while I've been here? And actually, it's called acknowledgement. You know, it's really interesting because I don't know that I ever had this word emphasized so much until the last 10 years of when I found the tools of Access Consciousness. And most of us don't realize that we are pretty powerful creators. What we think, what we say, and our actions actually get created into physical form. So, how often has it been that you said, "Oh, I'm so tired. I'm so tired of this person. I'm so tired of my job. I'm so tired. I'm so tired. I'm so tired." And then you start to notice your body's tired. You have a hard time getting out of bed. Just the enthusiasm's not there. Or you even end up getting sick, saying, "I'm sick of this. I'm sick of this." And then you actually create sickness. And most of us don't realize that we're that powerful, that our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions, whatever it is that we're adding our creative energy to, is what gets created in our world. And acknowledgement is actually one of those things that when you ask for something, like let's say you'd like to double your revenue of your business, or you'd like to buy a house, or you'd like to buy a car, or you'd like to, whatever it is that you're asking for, the first step is that question. It's that ask of, what would it take for me to have this? It starts from that inquiry, that curiosity, that play of, wow, what would it be like to have this in my life? What would it be like for my business to be like this? What would it be like if we had this car? And when you start that question, it starts to give you information. And most of us didn't always pay attention to the frequency and to the energy of it, but we knew we said something. And a lot of times we didn't even know we said it. And then it showed up. But when you ask, what you're actually doing is you're starting the engagement process. You are starting to engage with the molecules of what you're asking for. So your state of how you're being really determines what's going to show up. Like even when you're saying, I hate my job. I hate my job. Well, can you, from that frequency, find something that's actually going to be rewarding, something that's going to bring joy to your world, something that's going to expand your world? No, it's impossible. That frequency to what you're traveling, that moment when you say you hate your job, is the only thing that can match. So when you're asking, you want to drink your favorite coffee, go to your favorite park, like get yourself in a position of where you're actually in an expanded space, where your head is clear, where you're not looking at it as a problem that you're asking for something, but you're actually doing it from curiosity. You're doing it from the exploration of, what's my life going to be like if my business doubles its revenue this year? From curiosity, you actually allow you to move from the frequency of where you are to that frequency of being able to create the business revenue doubling. Because You traveling at the same place, doing the same thing every day. How are you going to have something else show up? It's impossible. You have to create a change. You have to create a demand. You have to create that frequency changing to be able to match the frequency of what you're actually asking for. And why am I talking about this? Well, these are the steps to get you to actually the acknowledgement. So when you start to ask, so what is it that you would like to add to your life and living today? Like if you were truly being the leader of your life, you could choose anything. We live in a very abundant world, and until you ask, you can't give yourself permission to receive it. So what could you be asking for today? And it's not one thing. What are multiple things you'd be asking for today? Now, just start to notice that you may not even have ideas in your head. You might, but you might notice there was a little bit of relaxation in your world, or there was a tingle or something. Like it could be so subtle. For me personally, I'm not sure how many of you guys know, but actually I keep visiting Dubai because I'm creating a wellness center here in a wellness building that's in construction. And what's funny about it is I started asking for this 10 years ago. I started drawing it out. It looked a little bit different. It was two buildings, but it started to show up in a way that I never imagined. And I was talking to my partner about it and laughing that, the trickles, the we can call it the wish seeds, but it was the ask was put out there. Now I started to forget about it. I didn't acknowledge it, but now I'm starting to acknowledge it more and more. The ideas that are coming up, I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking 10 years ago or whatever. Starting to acknowledge it also allows you to get out of that energy of like, it's missing, it's not here yet, to actually giving the energy to the consciousness of what you desire to add to your life, to your business. Give it life. Actually bring it to life. And some things may require a few years, some things may require 5 seconds. It just really depends on you, that frequency you are, matching the frequency of what you're asking for. And some of it is a reshuffling of things around you. It could be molecules, it could be the whole universe. 10 years ago, I was definitely not ready to have this center. 10 years ago, I wasn't even looking at my business outside of the DC area. Well, that's not true. Maybe a little bit earlier than that, but like it was more US based. It definitely wasn't global the way it is today. So, it also is like we put this thing out there. Well, yeah, by you actually asking for it, because you know something else is available and possible. Now, you don't have to figure out the hows yet, but when you ask and you start to engage and you start to play with it, you start to even imagine yourself with it, okay? And then it really is about you actually choosing it. You have to say, I am having this. No matter what it takes, I am having this. And you're going to notice that that's the demand that kicks it into gear, takes it from a wish to something that you're actually willing to include the universe to contribute, but you're also giving yourself permission to actually receive it. So, starts with question. What would it be like to have this? And then the choosing, I demand of me, whatever it takes, I'm having this. And then the next step is, what if you don't have to do it by yourself? What if it's not about you figuring it all out? But then you open the doors by saying, hey, universe, I'm choosing this. Whatever I have to be, I'm going to be it. Whatever I have to let go of, whoever I have to let go of, I'm willing to do that. Whoever I have to gain, whatever I have to gain, I'm willing to have that. Because what you're doing is you're allowing you not to let anything stop you, not your thoughts, not your feelings, not your distractions, not your moments of doubts, but you're actually saying, whatever I have in the way that doesn't allow me to be at the frequency of receiving this, and actually give myself permission to receive it, I'm saying I'm willing to let it go. I'm willing to add those energies that are missing, the frequency that I haven't yet chosen to be. I'm giving myself permission to actually now have that too. And you'll notice a lot of times the reason you're not in congruency of your ask and actually receiving it is that there's a lot of garbage in the way. These things that you may have said 5 years ago, I'll never do that. Or, you told your parents when you were 5 years old, I'm always going to be your little girl. I'm never going to move to another country. Like it's these ridiculous, crazy things that are under the rug that are creating your life that you don't even know are there. So when you start to say, I'm willing to let anything go, I'm willing to add anything, you're also giving yourself permission to start to receive what's in the way. What are these things that are in the way of you having exactly what you're asking for? And when you start, just know that when it shows up, sometimes you get mad, sometimes you're angry or whatever, because the truth is showing up in front of you to what's in the way of you having what you're asking for. And sometimes we make the excuse, oh, it's not coming. I don't have the money for it. I don't have the people for it. Like we start to put all these lies and inventions in the way, but it's not about that. What if you'd be willing to actually let go all the lies, all the invention, and all the things that you've put, all these walls and barriers to stop you from having what you're asking for? And when you're willing from that demand, you're actually not allowing you to stop you anymore. So first starts with question. Second is that choice you have to make and that demand. And then you're going to have different things that are going to show up as possibilities. Someone may call you and say, hey, do you want to partner on this? Or, like different things might show up. If you're looking for a house, you might drive by somewhere and you see a sign of a house being available, or like these different possibilities show up. And you've got to explore them. And as you start to explore, it's really where your gut instinct and your awareness come into play, because you have to start to trust you. Something shows up, okay? Okay, is this what I've been asking for showing up in such a different way? Like, even if someone's like rear ends your car, you're asking for a new car and someone rear ends you. That's the crazy part. You're so powerful that when we say we want something and we say we're willing to be and do whatever it takes, sometimes we create problems to give us permission to actually receive what we want. So just ask whatever's showing up in your life, right? Ask, is this showing up because this is what I've been asking for, but it's just looking different, it's being different? And start to notice your body. Your body communicates with you, okay? So when you actually ask any question and there's lightness and there's expansiveness in your world, guess what? That's what's resonating and it's more true for you. When it's like a stuck energy, or feel like tightness, or just you feel like this condensed, like this energy is just, the environment's just like tight, that's usually something that's maybe alive for you or doesn't resonate for you. So it's starting to actually acknowledge as things are showing up in your life, awareness, information, signs that you see. Hey, is this what I've been asking for showing up in a different way? And whatever is light, follow that, because what it is like you're here and you're asking for something, right? So you've got your A, let's just say that, and what you're looking for is Z, even though it's never linear, okay? But it doesn't happen, it doesn't come to fruition just by you doing A plus B equals C, C plus D equals E. No. Sometimes you have to do A and then one and then something else to get you, because the trail to get you to your destination is not a linear line. So your compass is actually the lightness. So all these things that are light, so these possibilities. And sometimes what you've been asking for, you may be so specific. You are trying to limit the infiniteness of what can actually show up, you start to have people show up, situations show up that seems like exactly what you've been asking for. Well, guess what? That's when you got to actually ask, is this a possibility or an opportunity? Opportunity is exactly what you're asking for, but tends not to have a generative future. So it's more there as a distraction because you asked for it. A possibility could look nothing like what you asked for, but has an expansive energy and actually expands your world. So, having this light and heavy tool, as well as having, is this a possibility? Is this an opportunity? Can be a great compass to guide us to really start to trust our knowing. So, we started with question, we chose, possibility showed up. And the interesting thing is, contribution is this other piece, which is this gifting and receiving. So, everything in this world actually has energy and consciousness. And no matter what it is you're desiring to add to your life, even a car has consciousness, okay? Even more revenue streams coming into your business has consciousness. So when we are willing to follow, not so much follow, but when we're willing to allow those energies and say yes and follow that energy, is how we actually get to create and actualize what we're looking for. Now, the topic of this was acknowledgement. And why am I talking about question, choice, possibilities, and contribution? Because so often we're so quick. We asked, at some moment we received, but we never acknowledged it. Last night I had dinner with a friend that I hadn't seen in a couple of years, and she's been in Dubai the last 2 years. And we started to talk about this wellness center that I've created. We started to talk about different things that I contributed to creating when I was in Portugal, different businesses, different things, and how much things grew. And it's funny because when I was having this conversation with her and she would ask me questions, I realized like I really hadn't acknowledged all the things that I had created, co created, and the things that had come alive because they just looked so different. So some things, I'd acknowledge 1%, 10%, but the other 90% is still desiring to be gifted and received, that contribution of it. And a lot of times when we are actually even creating something, sometimes it's not even for you. You're doing it because it's creating something greater on the planet. So, what have you already generated? That energy, the play, created, that's already actualized, that you haven't yet acknowledged. Some of it might be ideas that pop in your world, but some of it might just be extra energy and space. And be willing to just open you and allow you to receive. And if you want, open your arms, open them, and just let you receive. It's not about thinking, it's not about effort. But when we really start to acknowledge what we've created, we allow us to get out of the wrongness that never showed up. We allow ourselves to get out of that limited, lack, that energy of like, it's not here yet. It's not here yet. To actually allow whatever it is to expand its consciousness, to expand its living and grow. So what possibilities have already actualized that are asking for you to choose them and receive them? Will you give yourself permission to actually receive them now? Because see, when you receive, the creation receives, because it's this instant gifting and receiving with each other. So when your project, your business, whatever you are designing, when you are willing to receive from the gift it's being, you are gifting to it. We are a gift. We just don't realize it most of the time. So I'm wondering, what is desiring to be acknowledged by you so that it can grow, it can expand and exponentialize. And it's not linear, but by you just saying, hey, I just perceived something. I'm going to acknowledge this. I'm choosing it. I'm choosing you. And then let it go. Allow you to energetically receive. And then you'll notice different things will show up in your life. And, it's funny because this wellness center will be ready next year. Can't wait to have all of you guys come and visit. Gonna have so many amazing services. The whole building is about wellness and well-being, including the apartments and the hotel. But also, what I realized is that it started 10 years ago as Ask. And a year and a half, we've been already working together. And still, it's not even going to be fully ready till next year. But what does it require today? What is it that you're asking for? What actions can you take today? What is it asking you to add to it? Energies that you add to it, people that you might add to it, starting to look like if you wanted to expand and double your revenue, okay, what is your business asking for? What new products would it like to add? What new services would it like to have? What new sessions would it like to have? What new training? Like, what is it that you and your business are creating together you haven't yet acknowledged? And now what else is possible? Because it's again about being in the question. What else is possible now that I've never considered before? And asking, how does it get even better than this? Because these are the two tools that are the easiest that most people forget. But when you ask what else is possible and how does it get even better than this, you're allowing it to expand, but you're also allowing you permission to have the awareness of what else is available you haven't even thought about. Dubai was definitely never on my target list of where I wanted the center. I thought the center was going to be in Portugal. I was working with the municipality there, and it might be. So that said, I'm wondering, what have you asked for? Maybe it was even a long time ago. That's already actualized, and it just requires you to acknowledge it, to exponentialize from here. So, all right, everyone. Thank you guys for being here. And I wonder what else is possible. And if you're joining us, going to be in Mexico City. We're going to have a right body for you intro class there. We're going to have 2 body processes as well as the conscious vagina program. We're going to have an intro and the 1 day and then the body process day for it. And I'm wondering what contribution all of this can be to what it is you're asking for and what you are creating. And we're also starting the advanced How to Become Money workbook and the How to Become Money workbook. So if any of them might be a contribution to what you desire to create with your body, with your business, with your finances, the information will be below. So I look forward to seeing you guys, hearing from you sometime really soon, and looking forward to having you guys for next week's show as well. See you soon. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for being here, whether you were listening or watching live or on a replay. We are so grateful for you. We want to hear from you. What would you like to hear about? What are topics that get you excited and you would like to know more about? You can message us on social media, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, or even sending us a message at globalwellnessforall.com/contact. And also, would you be willing to assist us? Would you be willing to contribute spreading these seeds of wellness and well-being to others? And as always, we are so happy you're here, and what is truly possible with our amazing planet the minute we're willing to have more wellness and well-being. See you next time.